Hey guys, so I'm going to be walking you through 3 of my most favorite ways that I feel are the most leveraged when it comes to attracting a high ticket prospect into your ecosystem. And I'm going to guide you through each of those 3 methods, what we use, some results or examples of, me actually using these systems with clients or myself. And yeah, just give you an idea of the most leveraged way to attract people into your ecosystem in terms of your dream clients, right? Your ICP clients, because you can go out there, you can do the thing, you can do the actions and get traffic, but sometimes for the majority of coaches or experts out there, that attention doesn't translate to sales. So you're attracting eyeballs, you're getting attention, or you're having people watch your content. You may have likes, views, subscribers, whatever it might be, but you're struggling to turn those viewers, that attention, into sales, right? So let's dive in at the 3 most leveraged ways to attract your ICP into your ecosystem, starting with an understanding of where most people are at, right? So most coaches and creators aren't short on attention, they're short on attention from the right types of people, right? Your ICP, your dream clients, the people that you actually want to work with. And even if you guys get eyeballs, you don't have a system that constantly attracts, nurtures, and qualifies them at the top of the funnel, right? Because ultimately, guys, when you really think about it, right, your top of the funnel is almost the most important stage of your entire customer journey. Because if you're attracting the wrong people at top of funnel, the middle of funnel and bottom of funnel, you're gonna be wasting time speaking to the wrong people and ultimately putting customers or clients, your potential prospects, through the wrong nurturing processes and wasting time on the back end, right? So everything starts at the top of funnel. If your messaging isn't right, if your positioning isn't right, if your content isn't attracting your dream clients at the top of funnel, everything else suffers. So we're gonna dive into 3 core elements at the top of funnel, right? So the real bottleneck isn't attention or output, it's the lack of a pull-based ecosystem engineered for your exact ICP. I say pull-based because everything that we focus on and that I focus on with my clients isn't about push tactics, right? Force, resistance, persuasion. It's about building systems and building leverage in your ecosystem that attract the right type of person to you. Okay, so you have the leverage. Now, a quick insight before we dive into the 3 systems is, what most people call marketing is just output, right? They post, they show up, they make noise, but no one actually hears you, right? You have content, you're garnering attention, but no one actually sees, feels, and understands what it is that you're putting out to a level enough that they'll actually reach out to you and, start to explore working with you one-to-one. So they haven't built a system where the right people see them, those people feel deeply understood, and the trust is being built before the pitch. So in this video, I'm gonna be breaking down the 3 most leveraged top of funnel entry points that we use to attract premium clients like clockwork without chasing or convincing. And before we do that, I wanna break down how we do this in 3 core stages, because before you even begin to think about attracting your ICP and posting out content, we need to build some of the foundations, right? And I'm gonna walk you through some of the foundations here. So this is the core operating system that I take my clients through, anyone that works with me. But what we're gonna focus on here, before we get into the top of funnel entry matrix, which is the 3 things that I focus on in terms of garnering attention at top of funnel, we're gonna talk about the foundations, because if the foundations are set in the right way, everything else is easier. We're gonna attract the right people from the get-go. We're gonna be building an audience, building an ecosystem of people that you actually wanna work with, and you're not gonna be wasting your time. You're not gonna be dealing with none of the surface level bullshit that majority of people focus on in this industry, attracting the wrong leads, not being able to book calls with these prospects. And if you do book the calls, they don't show up on the calls, lack of low show-up rates. And then if you do eventually get someone to arrive at a call with you and actually sit down and speak to you, you're gonna struggle with conversion rates because you're not even speaking to the right prospect in the first place. So we eliminate all of that by focusing on building solid foundations with regards to your messaging, your positioning, your pathway, your offers, and all sorts of stuff like that. So that if people do come through your ecosystem, they're already aligned with what it is that you do, what it is that you preach, right? And it makes everything else, your middle funnel, bottom of funnel, closing those prospects, much easier, much more fulfilling, and it's just a system that actually works, okay? So the first stage I take people through is the category code. So it's the positioning foundation. We work on your ICP, like I have an entire ICP sheet here, which is pretty in-depth, that I take my clients through. And if you actually want access to that doc, guys, you can just go ahead and message me on Instagram and I can share that with you. And it just makes sure that you're super crystal clear on who it is that you want to work with, past the surface level bullshit, like name the top 10 problems, right? We're talking really deep emotional stuff that people are going to resonate and feel without you having to just talk about freaking pain points all the time, right? And there's a cool little technique that we do is we plug that ICP, once we've built it, we plug that ICP into a prompt that I built inside of ChatGPT, and your ChatGPT thread, or this particular thread, turns into a simulator for your ICP. So you can give them a name, right? John, Sarah, whatever you want to name your ICP. And you can have conversations with that ICP on a day-to-day basis. And it's like you're sitting across the table from your exact dream client, having a conversation with that individual and understanding, you know, you could get endless content ideas, you could understand the deeper inner workings of that mind, and you can even run your existing content ideas through this ICP simulator to understand if there's anything you can tweak to make it more relatable, make it resonate deeper with your audience, right? So that is a core element of the foundations, your identity, your positioning, and your messaging. Number two is the pathway frameworks and mechanisms that you build, right? In order to really hit home with your messaging and what it is that you do and specialize in, it's ideal to build a signature pathway, some intellectual property for your offer that people can visualize and encourage them to understand that this visual transformation that you take people through, this signature pathway that is yours, your intellectual property, is much easier for them to conceptualize the outcome, right? They see the vision, they see the transformation, they see the roadmap that you take people through, and it makes the outcome far easier to believe, but also it makes the outcome far easier to even understand and breaking it into certain modules or certain mechanisms that they know they can achieve, right? So it makes it seem more achievable, it makes it seem more, understandable, and it's very clear and broken down into a pathway. So we call that section the pathway protocol, and that's a really game-changing element of what I take my clients through. And it also just helps you to position yourself in a market different to other people, right? So thirdly is your offer, right? The promise that you make to your audience and the transformation that you take people through. So once we've ironed out those three core pillars of your foundations, we can then move into the top of funnel systems, right? How we're going to attract people, how we're going to get eyeballs onto what it is that you do. So the first system I take people through is Instagram follower ads, right? And the reason I do that is because there's this big argument in the space right now. You have the organic side of the industry who are like, double down on organic, don't waste money on paid, XYZ. And then you have the other side of the spectrum where it's like all of the paid marketers, right? They talk about doubling down on paid funnels, advertising, shouldn't waste your time with organic. I like to challenge that worldview, right? Because I've actually implemented my own idea, and it's a core principle which reinforces everything I do with the category creators. And it's, why don't you pay for people to go through your organic journey? Because you can manufacture your organic journey in a way that hits all the right bases, right? Builds authority, credibility, demonstrates proof, evidence in your market, builds trust. If you are dialed in on your organic, right, which I think everyone should be in this day and age, like you should be looking at figuring out the organic side of your business. If you dial in the organic and then you pay for your ICP to go through that organic journey, that results in the most optimal outcome, right? You're paying people to go through the organic journey, which we all know if the organic journey is built in the right way, it builds trust far more than any cold funnel would out there. And this is essentially what we focus on, right? So we do this with Instagram follower ads. You get the benefit of pushing people through an organically built customer journey whilst reaping the reward of predictable top of funnel ICP traffic instead of relying on the algorithm to fix your pipeline, to fill your pipeline, right? Because this is the problem with organic. Like if you don't have consistent views coming in through your organic, like thousands of eyeballs every day, you're relying on the algorithm to push your message out to the right person. And this is why I love the Instagram follower ad method, right? And we do it in a particular way that the Instagram follower ads, the messaging, the positioning, and the targeting on the ad level is only showing your ads to your ICP. It's only showing your ads to people who would actually buy into what it is that you do, right? So you're just paying for the right people to go through the right customer journey, built in the right way to nurture them, to build trust, and just build, depth. And compared to the cold funnel bullshit, compared to the traditional, you pay for someone to visit an opt-in page to go through to a VSL, and then you expect to marry them on the first day, go through a 2-call close to sell them, upwards of 5K on the front end. Like, that shit don't work as good as it used to, right? So this is kind of one of the main methods that we're focusing on right now. And you can see, one of our clients, we're getting 0.4 to 10 cent cost per visits when built correctly. And I'll show you on the ad manager side here, just refresh the page. You can see we've generated for this client, guys, hundreds of thousands of profile visits. Like, we know what the fuck we're doing here. Look, 211,000 profile visits at 0.03 cents, guys. 0.03 cents. Imagine getting that many eyeballs on an Instagram profile, which is optimized in the right way, which, by the way, Instagram are releasing a new feature very soon, within the next week or so, which is going to allow you to reorganize the grid of your Instagram profile. So we're going to really focus on with our clients, like building your Instagram profile into a funnel. It's essentially going to be a landing page, right? And if you do this in the right way, guys, and you're paying for 0.3 cent ICP to start visiting your Instagram page, like, guys, come on, man. And it's all going to tie in to the nurturing system that we build, which is exactly what I'm going to walk you through in a moment. So this allows you to scale top of funnel without content burnout, consistently relying on your own ability to record content and show up to garner attention. And you directly control who follows you. You specify on the targeting level of the ad campaigns, who the hell is it going to even see these posts, right? And you can get super specific. So this works best when your IG profile is optimized. You know, it'll be even more effective soon with the new Instagram update I mentioned. You have active stories and soft call to actions in rotation, and you treat your profile like a funnel and not a gallery. And the clear distinction to make here, guys, is you are not buying followers, right? You're buying your way to attention from the right people faster, and your content and trust engine does the rest in terms of nurturing them into a pre-sold state. So where this all ties together and where we make the most of this is what I like to call the InstaTube engine. So this is another pillar, another arm of the entry matrix that I have with regards to the core operating system that I take my clients through, right? A multi-entry attention engine that attracts your ICP into a singular pathway. We work at different angles, right? Different angles in the market, different angles with regards to your mechanisms, the kind of people you're looking to attract, different top of funnel angles that all anchor into the same pathway, right? So people are going through this streamlined process where it results in people landing at your keystone asset, which is essentially a sales asset which pre-sells them on you, right? A single scalable asset that delivers your pitch, removes objections, and drives sales on autopilot. So we have these 3 different, top of funnel entry points, you could call them, that funnel into the same journey. Okay, so we're kind of streamlining our back end, making sure there's no operational drag or additional, headache or systems that we don't even need. And it just makes the system very lean. So how the InstaTube engine works is we spark short form curiosity, funnel them into long form videos, which builds depth. And then we restart the trust loop, which basically repeats that on a daily, if not bi-daily basis. So I have an example here, right? I have a short form video that I created, and it was basically like touching on a specific idea. And then if anyone wants to go deeper, they can reply with the word 360K or the keyword 360K. That then triggers a ManyChat automation, which sends them through to a video long form, which goes deeper on that topic. So this video was around 30 seconds. The long form video was around 17 minutes, right? So again, I may, based on this video, talking about the 3 entry points, the entry matrix, I might do short form videos that are gonna maybe touch base on some of the ideas I'm talking about in this video, and it's gonna funnel through to this video, which is gonna build further depth, credibility, authority in the market, and all that sort of stuff. So this is a hybrid funnel that connects IG short form to a ManyChat automation to YouTube long form videos, which deepen belief and trust. Here's why it works. So IG short form meets them where they scroll. Okay, it builds that curiosity, it garners the attention on Instagram. The DM conversation or keyword click routes them through to the right YouTube playlist or video. And there's a cool way that we could do this, right? So if you've really narrowed in on your ICP and you've built a list of problems, challenges, deep emotional layers, beliefs, identity blocks, all that sort of stuff within your ICP, you can create playlists that are dedicated to your exact ICP. So on the front end side, on the top of funnel, where you're doing the InstaTube engine with the Instagram short form, you might be funneling them into a specific video, but that specific video is nested in a multi-video playlist, which is just gonna rack up your watch time with these individuals, right? I think Google did a study, I think it's called like the 7-11-4 study. And basically it suggests that people need to watch 7 hours of your content across 11 different touch points on 4 different platforms to then buy from you, right? So we're kind of following this study, following this general suggestion or rule to increase watch time, increase trust, increase credibility, increase belief in what it is that you're doing, XYZ. And I see YouTube now, guys, as the new age of VSLs, right? You're pretty much putting out VSLs onto YouTube. People can come back to them 6 months, 3 months, a year from now, and they'll still be there. They get indexed into Google's search engine. And instead of, having a VSL strictly on a cold funnel, why not just put consistent weekly VSLs out in the form of value education driven content on YouTube that are gonna funnel people into your ecosystem and do all of the pre-selling for you. So the third method we use is the Trojan horse method. So it's a belief first low ticket entry point, which funnels them into a self-liquidating offer and turns them into high ticket buys. I recently did a video on this. It's on my YouTube channel, it's around 17 minutes long. we pretty much built this Trojan horse method for a client. We made $360,000 within 30 days. It works really well. You can go check that out at the end of this video if you like. Instead of freebie funnels, we basically lead with a $5 to $30 paid product that solves a real problem, reframes the key beliefs that need to be changed in order for someone to believe that your methodology is the only logical choice for them. And then we position you as the only logical next step in terms of like the one-to-ones to go deeper or whatever offer you've got after that low ticket product, right? It's not your typical bullshit low ticket ascension funnel. Go check the video out if you want to learn a bit more about that. Here's a little rundown on why it works, right? So buyers pay to be nurtured instead of you paying with your time or your money to get in front of those individuals, right? So people are paying, they're committing to your ecosystem, to your ideas, your methodologies. By investing in a low ticket product, they're paying to be a lead. And the funny thing about this system is if you build it in the right way, it's completely self-liquidating. I worked with a client, we did this. If you go check out this video, you'll see that we had a $5 product and with the intention to sell higher ticket offers on the back end, but the $5 product was liquidated on the front end. So we were paying like in some cases, $3 to get a $5 purchase. So we were actually making profit on the front end to then build a list of high ticket qualified prospects that are filtered based on the product that we create and the messaging that we use. And we ended up creating a list of, I think it was like 3,150 people that was a completely free list. Like imagine getting a list of 3,150 qualified pre-filtered leads that you can now reach out to and nurture into your high ticket system. You didn't even have to pay for it. Like this is the Trojan horse method. And I don't know why people aren't, focusing on, either one of these free methods that I've walked through. Because all of these systems, guys, give you the leverage and that's what we focus on, like I mentioned. So this is how they all tie together, right? The IG follower ads fill the top of funnel. They get people through, they filter, they qualify, they make sure that your ICP is coming through into your pre-built ecosystem on Instagram. The InstaTube engine nurtures from short form to long form. Okay, we're building depth, and the Trojan horse qualifies and funds the funnel whilst pre-selling individuals on the next most logical step, which is going deeper with you onto one-to-ones or whatever offer it is you sell on the back end. And behind the scenes, the Activate engine turns viewers into pre-sold buyers. So we essentially take people through the Activate engine. It's a strategic depth building loop that guides leads towards your keystone asset, fully pre-sold. Authority, connection, trust, identity, vision, alignment, testimonials, and evidence. This is pretty much the 8 core pillars that we work through when it comes to this strategy. And yeah, so this is pretty much my final take, guys. You don't need more noise. You need to engineer a system that attracts the right people, because ultimately, guys, like you don't need to go fucking viral. You don't need thousands and thousands and thousands of views. Like I would rather have a YouTube channel with, 3,000 to 5,000 ICP subscribers rather than 100,000 subscribers who just see my shit and they thought it looked cool because I'm trying to make viral content. Like it's not too much about the quantity, it's more about the quality. Okay, so don't focus on making noise for the sake of making noise. Focus on, building a messaging playbook that really resonates with your exact fucking ICP. Okay, because when you're talking to just one person, really niche, really narrow, when you're talking to just one person, instead of trying to make a video for everyone, that's when you start to attract people who really resonate with your message, okay? So these 3 top of funnel systems are how we help clients build trust ecosystems that attract the right people, build the right beliefs, and create a sales process that feels effortless because the groundwork's already been done. So guys, if you have any questions or want to, learn more about what it would be like to work with me one-to-one, you can come and connect with me on Instagram. My link to the Instagram is in the description of this video, or you can just go ahead and type in my username there. So yeah, appreciate you taking the time to watch this video, and I'll see you on the next one.